what are we going to do today? Well, I see a bunch of potatoes, so we're going to have to make potato vodka. This ought to be pretty interesting, but first, welcome to Stillworks in Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. All right, let's get started. Okay, so first things first, what is vodka? Well, vodka is a clear, distilled alcoholic beverage, and it's originated from Poland, Russia, and Sweden. It's mainly a water and ethanol product, and it can be made from anything. It can be made from grains, it can be made from fruits, it can be made from potatoes, so it can be made pretty much from anything. It comes off distilled at a very high proof, and then what you do is you bring the ABV back down. It can be double distilled, you know, whatever you want to do, but it comes off at a high proof or a high ABV, whatever you want to call it, and then it's brought down usually to 80 proof or 40 ABV. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and I don't know why. I think everybody that gets started in the distilling hobby, a lot of people want to make potato vodka. So we're going to find out. Okay, so the very first step that we're going to have to do is we are going to have to scrub our potatoes. You got to have good clean spuds, right? And the easiest way I'm going to do that is I got me a bucket of water here. And so we'll scrub them, and then what I'm going to do after I get them clean, I've got a pot here with a basket in it, and we're going to steam these spuds. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to just start throwing them in here, if I don't knock them all over the floor. And we'll start scrubbing them. And if my water gets too dirty, I'll change it out, of course. And I'll just use a brush. And we'll just, mainly what you want is to clean the dirt off of it, right? Alright, so let me get all these spuds clean. And these are, what kind of spuds are these? These are like a roasting potato. In research, a lot of people think that there's a lot of starch in potatoes, but that's not actually very true. They have little starch. The best I could find that these are like 7 point something ppg. So we're going to start off here with 30 pounds of potatoes, and then I got some barley. Okay, let me get these cleaned up, and then we'll be back. Okay, so where are we at now? Well, we got all our potatoes are all scrubbed and cleaned. I put them in my pot with the basket. I just got a little bit of water in the bottom, and what we're going to try to do is steam those potatoes to get them soft so we can mash them. So what they'll probably be in there steaming probably for I would say right around an hour. We'll check them, of course, and just got to make sure that the pot don't run out of water in the bottom. That screen keeps the potatoes about that far up from the bottom, so that's going to work out pretty nice. So now let's just give it some time, let them soften up, and then we'll move on to the next step. They've been steaming for about an hour. And if you can see, I mean, they are nice and soft. Okay, let's do some mashing. Alright, so what we want to do is mash these potatoes up. I figured this would probably be about the easiest way of doing it. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to mash them. Then I'm going to put them into my mash tun. Mash them. And then what I'll do is I'll check the temperature. I will add water to it. I just figured this is about the easiest way of doing this. Will take a while. That's okay. Alright, let me get these mashed up, put in my mash tun. Okay, one thing I forgot to tell you is before I started dumping the mashed potatoes into my mash tun, I did add some warm water to the bottom to help, to mix it all up and to keep it going. So hopefully my temperature will be pretty close. I'm looking at 149. Okay, so what I'm going to end up doing is, I would like to have that a little bit higher, but I'm going to go ahead and mix my citro barley in, and then I'll double check my temperature, and if I got to add some hot water to boost it up, I would like it 153. So I know once I put my barley it's going to cool down. So I might have to heat up some water and put in there just to adjust the temperature up to the upper spectrum of the mash in temperature. So I think that's 143 to 153, somewhere in that neighborhood. Okay, so let's go ahead and mix in. I got 9 pounds of citro. Get that all nice and stirred in. Add a little at a time. But I do know that my temperature will drop, like I said before. And I'll be curious to see. The reason we're using the barley is to convert the starches over into sugars. And it will get pretty thick. Then I'll show you, then we'll talk about the other challenges that we're going to have. I did check my temperature. Like I said, it is 142. I mean, that's close. So what I did, I got some 200-degree water in my pot here. And I'm going to just mix a little bit in here. Just I want to boost her up. I like 148, 150 is what I would really like. Get that stirred in and we'll see what we got. Looks like we got nice potato soup. See what we got now. 147. I think one more little shot will do it. Get that all mixed in. Uh, 145. I'm gonna mix one more in. A lot of stirring. Let's see what we've got now. $147. I'm gonna just leave it right there because the mash tun's already hot. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half. Let's do a starch conversion, or an iodine test. See if there's any starch. I see like clear liquid on top. That's a good sign. Okay, so we got a little sample. Got some iodine. Let me get a little bit and I'll bring it over to you so you can see. And we'll see if it's done, okay? Alright. There's our sample. Put a drop of iodine in there. Okay. See, there's no black. It goes right back to original color. So that means there's no starch present. So, all the starch has been converted over into sugars. So we're going to start our next process here. Let me get rid of some of the stuff out of my way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we got to get this over into our mash tun, but I want to get the solids out of it. You know, I want a good clean mash, okay? Alright, let me get set up. See how I'm going to accomplish this. Alright, I got this sieve that I've made. It's just a bucket with some bolts to hold it on a bottling bucket. Okay, and what we will do is we'll take a brewing bag. We'll put that inside here. So that'd be inside there. So then we'll just dip out our contents out of the mash tun, put in here, and we should get most of the solids out. Okay. So we will be able to put the out of the mash tun in here. It will siphon down through the hole, drain down through the holes into the bottling bucket, and then we'll have clean mash going into the fermentation bucket. Okay. So we'll just sit here and let it drain for a while. And I can always move this bag if it seems to not be draining much. Okay, so let's get this all drained over into the bucket. Then what we can do is we can take water and sparge the grains that's in here until we collect our 6 gallons. Okay, so this is going to take a little while. Okay, I added some sparge water on top of the grain. Now it's time to get, like I even said before, it's a pain to work with, but hopefully it'll be worth it. So I'm going to just twist the bag. Get everything out of the grains that I can. This does a pretty good job. I got about another gallon and a half, I guess, to collect, but it's draining pretty good. Making a mess. Okay. Alright, so let's get our starting gravity. Let me get a little sample. And we got you can see it. 1.065. That ain't too bad. We'll leave it right there. 1.065. Alrighty. It's still a little bit too warm to put my yeast in. So I'll let it cool down. And I want it below 90. So I'll just put a lid on, put it in the fermentation room, and then later on tonight I'll come out and check the temperature. If it's below 90, I'll add my yeast. Okay, so just a recap of what we did today is, besides make a mess. Oh, so we took our 30 pounds of potatoes, we scrubbed them nice and clean, we put them in a pot with a basket, and we steamed them for an hour. Okay, so then what we did is we mashed those potatoes, we put them into our mash tun. We did add some hot water into the bottom of the mash tun before we started putting the potatoes in. Started mixing them all up. So then what we did after that, we had to add a little bit of hot water to get her up to, I think it was 147 degrees. And then what we did is we stirred in our 9 pounds of barley, and then we let it mash in for an hour and a half. And then we took a starch test. There was no, turn back to natural color, so that means everything was done. We used our homemade sieve with a Brewing bag to get all the solids out, because we wanted a nice clean mash. We checked our mash for starting gravity at 1.065. And we did end up collecting 6 gallons. So I guess the next step is ferment this out, and then we will distill it. Okay, so what we're going to be using to distill it with is I'm going to use my bubble plates, and we did some modifications, and then I think the last time we used it we needed one more modification. I'll show you that on the next video when we get ready to do that. I am sticky all over. I got a heck of a mess to clean up. I'm good at making a mess. But here, there. Okay, so I think that's it. So I gotta just clean up. That's my favorite part. I ain't got a mop before. I got anyway. All right. Last thing I got to say. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Still Works in Brewing. Cheers, guys.